Alright y'all, like I said, I am going to be replacing my low beams with these LED bulbs. Because as you can see, I got LED everything on the front right now. Except, switch back over to low beams. My low beams. Everything's that nice white, and then I still got that orange bulb. So let's get started. Now the only way people really know how to replace any of these bulbs is by taking the blinkers off, undoing the grill, taking everything off, and then unscrewing the entire housing of the light off, which is how I thought you were supposed to do it. And then the other day, I was talking to Chase, and we replaced his headlights, and I found out with these aftermarket headlights, it's 2 screws, one right there and one right there. And then after you unscrew them, the headlight just slides out. Now with the stock headlights, I don't exactly know what they are that unscrew, but I know they're not the Phillips heads. I'm pretty sure they're like some Allen key looking thing. I don't really know. I didn't watch them do it. But just go in, unscrew those, and I'll come back at you whenever I get that out. Alright, and after you get those screws out, it should just slide out, and it will take a little bit of finessing trying to get that thing out of there. But on these, it's these H1 bulbs, so you just take this out, pull this up, and then that part just unplugs. And then after you get that up, the bulb just pulls right out. And when me and Chase saw these bulbs the first time, because I used to think that you just couldn't replace that bulb, because I never really looked at it. I just saw a bunch of wires coming out of it, and I never had to put a bulb in there. But when me and Chase took these things apart and found these bulbs, I never thought I'd be able to find another another LED or anything for that. They got these things all over AutoZone and Walmart, and I found my LED ones. So I'm gonna figure out how this is all gonna go up in here. There's my LED high beams right there, and I'll get back to y'all in just a second. Alright y'all, this is still the side with the halogen, and I'm not really sure how good you're gonna be able to see it, but I mean you can tell it's orange and everything else is white. I just got this side over here put in. I don't really have the full light back in, but as you can see, it's LED. And let me tell you something. Here, I can actually go ahead and pull the light out because I don't have it in yet. Take this again. Alright, I gotta be careful with this thing. See, there's my LED bulb. These are my halo wires right here. This right here, right there, I got the positive connector and the negative. Those things were so hard to get in that the positive was a little bit easier than the negative, but I spent forever trying to get those things in there because the connectors that these lights come with, I'll show you right here on this one, they're a little bit thicker than the stock ones. The ones that, or not the stock ones, but you know, the ones that came with the make sure my other light's still working. Yep. They're a little bit thicker than the ones that came with these bulbs originally. So man, that was difficult. But I already showed you how to take the light out and everything on this side. On this side, I'm actually gonna try to show you where everything goes and what you don't need and all that. Figured I'd show you all the difference between the LEDs and the halogens. Alright, first what you want to do after you get the light out is you want to unclip that right there just those two. And then you want to slide this off. And actually you can cut this off later, which is what I did on the other side, because there's no point in having it on anymore. And then you want to unclip these two little tabs, which pull up, and then pull that connection out. Make sure that little tab is off, and then your bulb will slide right out, and it's actually very hot. So I'm going to set that down. Sorry y'all, the video timed out, but what I was actually about to show y'all was this wire that was plugged in right there. The little green one is your negative, and it just pulls out. And I meant to show y'all what I meant by these connections being bigger on the bulb. Okay, that right there, so it'll focus. Come on, focus. There. Okay, that is your negative connection on the light. This, if I can get it up there without messing up the focus, that is your negative connection for the bulb. It's way bigger. It takes, and the positive is the same way, it takes so much more prying and bending to try to get that connection in there. But once you do, then you gotta clamp it down pretty tight to keep it in there. But now that I got the light out, what you want to do is this bulb right here just slides straight in there like that. And actually the connector fell, so I'm gonna have to do this with both hands, because you have to kind of pry this connection around this light, because it won't slide over the top of it like it did the other one. So I'll be right back. Alright, and after you have the bulb in and clamped down, you want to find your positive and connect that to this yellow wire, which will be your positive, and connect that negative black wire to this green wire. And there's no way I'm going to be able to do all that one-handed, because I got to pry and bend these connectors and clamp them down in there. So after I get them in there, I'll show you what I did. Okay, now that was really weird. These connectors on this side were actually way bigger than the ones that were over there. I actually had to clamp these down just to keep these connections in, because they were so loose. But after you get that, all you want to do is connect that back into there. Make sure all these lights and everything are still hooked up. And when you slide this in, make sure you're not clipping any of these wires. Make sure this goes into there, into that hole right there. Because if you don't, it won't slide in correctly. And then after you get those things done, you just slide one of these screws into there, one into there, and then you're done. But before you do that, I would go test your lights, make sure everything's working correctly before you put it back in there, just so you ain't gotta take it out again. But I'll come back at you with the final result. Alright y'all, the LEDs are in, and it actually is a little bit later after that last clip than I was planning on being, because I didn't think about it, and the way the connections were on the original bulbs, they never touched. They never had a chance of touching. So when I put that light back in and turned on the lights to see if they were working, they actually shorted out and they wouldn't turn on. And I couldn't figure out why. So I took the light back out, started looking at it, and I realized the connections were probably touching. And I'm not really sure if that's exactly what it was, because I'm not the best with electrical work, and I'm not gonna claim to be. But I took that one back out, put electrical tape around each connection separately, took that one back out, did the same thing. And now they're on and they're working fine. They actually weren't level before I started. And now they're dang near about perfectly level. And I really like it. I think it gives it a much cleaner look. And I'm probably going to blind a few people just with my low beams. So if you see me driving down the road, I'm sorry about that. But I think it looks really good, and I'm really happy with it. Oh, one thing I haven't said in this video, and I really meant to. These screws, stock bulbs, stock lights, aftermarket lights, anything. If you're planning on taking these out, trying to take out this housing like I did without taking the grill off, you have to have a pair of needle nose pliers. If you don't, there's no way you're getting those screws out. Because I tried the first time we did this, and it was not easy. And we dug around, found some needle nose finally. And I actually couldn't find them this time, so I had to use these. I mean, they worked. They got down in there and got them, but yeah, if you're planning on doing this, I would highly recommend it because these bulbs are really nice. Right now, I'm just waiting on my pods so I can wire those in. But I guess that'll do it for me. Talk to y'all later.